All right, welcome to another video. This is in Genesis chapter 19, and I find this really neat. I sat back and I just took a few minutes just to think about this because the Holy Spirit gave me something from the New Testament and was like, check this out. This is kind of the same thing, same type of people, same heart. Okay, so in Genesis chapter 19, Yah is going to kill everyone who is in Sodom and Gomorrah. He's going to destroy those cities and all the towns that surround them. So he sent three men or three angels to go to the city to see for themselves, is it true what they've been hearing? And I caught a few things out of that. Number one is when we cry out to Yah about something, about a people, about being done wrong, Yah hears that and he takes note of that. So when there's a lot of that crying out going on, then Yah sends his holy angels to come down and see, is this really true? Are these things really happening? Are they happening exactly the way we say that they're happening? And are these people really doing what we say they're doing? And then he brings judgment on those people accordingly. Okay, so don't be afraid to cry out to Yah about people who do you wrong, because Yah listens, he hears, and when he gets tired of hearing about it, then he will act on it. Okay, so I want to read a little bit of Genesis chapter 19, and it says, starting in verse 10, it says, But the men reached out their hands and pulled Lot into the house. So the angels reached out their hands and pulled Lot into the house because the men were surrounded the house and they wanted to sleep with the angels. Okay, and and shut the door. And they struck the men who were at the doorway of the house with blindness, both small and great, so that they became weary trying to find the door. So when I saw that, I thought, wow. Yah made it, the angels struck them with blindness and made it hard for them to find the door, and they became weary. So immediately the Holy Spirit said, the door, Yeshua is the door. So I said, let me go to the New Testament. I got to find this. So I did a little searching and I found it in the New Testament. And wicked people try to force their way into heaven. They don't care anything about Yah's laws. They don't care anything about Yeshua, but they are sure that they're going to go to heaven. But that door has been closed and they have been blinded, and they believe that they can find the door in their state, in the state that they're in. Okay. So Yeshua is speaking here in Matthew chapter 13, and I'm going to start in verse 13. It says, Therefore I speak to them in parables, because seeing they do not see, and hearing they do not hear, nor do they understand. So wicked people, they think they see, but they don't really see what Yeshua is saying. They think they hear, because they have ears and they're hearing the message, but they're not perceiving it in a spiritual way. And they do not understand it in a spiritual way. They just hear the words. Okay. 14, and in them the prophecy of Isaiah is fulfilled, which says, Hearing you will hear and shall not understand. Seeing you will see and not perceive. For the hearts of this people have grown dull. Their ears are hard of hearing, and their eyes they have closed, lest they should see with their eyes and hear with their ears, lest they should understand with their hearts and turn so that I should heal them. Okay? So I want you guys to understand today that, there are a lot of people in this world who they have no real care to follow Yah's commands. They get this understanding, or they get the message, they hear the words, and they think to themselves, oh, I don't have to do all of that. Oh, it's not that. Come on, be for real. We ain't got to do all that. I'm not doing all that. I refuse. And they still try to find the door. And they still say there's another way. I can get into heaven another way. I don't have to submit. I don't have to do these things. I don't have to do the things that you say we have to do. There's other ways. God is not the only God. He's not the only way. But they deceive themselves because, you know, even in David's time, David said the same thing. He said, yeah, don't allow these people who are wicked to understanding and, make their minds dull, make their eyes, blind their eyes, put a veil over their eyes so that they can't access you because you're so holy. They don't deserve you. And that's exactly what Yah did. He dulled people's hearts and eyes. Hardened their hearts, dulled their eyes, made them hard of hearing, so that they cannot perceive the knowledge, the saving knowledge of what it takes to really be saved. Okay, like the word says that, all you need is Jesus, right? That's what it sounds like it's saying on the surface. If you don't have spiritual eyes to understand what it's really saying, you just go with what you think it's saying on the surface. And the bad thing about this is there's a lot of pastors who that's all they have is this surface knowledge of how the kingdom of heaven works, how Yah works, how Yeshua works, how all these spiritual things work without having the Holy Spirit, without really having spiritual eyes. They claim they're filled with the Holy Spirit. They claim they see and they hear and they understand and they call themselves prophets and all these different, ministers, pastors. They call themselves by all these names. But at the same time, they only get the surface level understanding of what the word is saying. But Yah is trying to raise up a people who desires to get the deeper understanding, who really want to understand the real deal of this word, okay? And it's something that it really takes someone who has their spiritual eyes open to help other people get their spiritual eyes open. It's not something that you can just read on your own, get a little bit of an understanding, and then think you're going to run with it. And you're going to be able to teach others, and you're going to be able to do these different things. Because I promise you, the amount of understanding and wisdom I have now is so much greater than when I first started. And when I first started, I thought I was good. I thought, yeah, I know a lot of the Bible. Yeah, I know a lot of scriptures. Yeah, I know this. Yeah, I know that. But it's once my spiritual eyes were open and I really started getting the revelations that Yah wanted me to get, that I started to understand the real truth of this word. And it's like, wow, like this is so much deeper. And even still, it gets deeper and deeper. And I sit back and it's like, wow, Yah. Wow. So we don't want our spiritual eyes and ears to be dulled. Wickedness blinds us. Sinfulness, wickedness, and lawlessness blinds us and dulls our hearing. Okay? I'm sorry. People outside trying to back this truck up and they're making a lot of noise. So with that, I want you guys to understand that, the more sin that happens, the more layers that have to be peeled back to get to the true knowledge, because it just piles on dullness and misunderstanding and all that kind of stuff. Because Yah doesn't want people in his kingdom that act like these people in Sodom and Gomorrah, which is why Yah says that, in a way, they're going to be better off than some of us, because they didn't have the word first, but we have the word first. And we still act like we don't need Yah's word, and we don't need to follow. Now that we have the truth, there's no excuse. That is why Sodom and Gomorrah, Yeshua said, is going to be better off in the day of judgment than we are, because they didn't know the word. They didn't have someone really teaching the word. And when they did, they had Lot, But they didn't want to hear a lot. You know, it was like, whatever, shut up. You know, you think you're our judge now. You think you come over here, you just live with them, near us. You live amongst us, but you're not like us. You know, so they didn't want to hear the word. They didn't want to hear what he had to say. But they'll be better off than some of us because we've heard it and we've understood it. And we will be judged by the amount of knowledge that we do know, because we're expected to walk blamelessly before Yah. All right. That's it for this one. See you in the next video.